Henry, now officially the most famous dog in India. The Ethics Committee, meanwhile, has summoned Mahua Moitra on October 31st to present her side of the story. Her situation is precarious because the Dubai-based businessman she allegedly gave her parliament login to, Darshan Hiranandani, has corroborated those charges on record. He has, in fact, spoken to Times Network. Calling it a serious charge and a matter of national security, the Ethics Committee has sent a letter to the Ministries of IT, Home Affairs and External Affairs. Essentially, the Home and IT ministries are expected to make the details of her login credentials available to the committee, while the MEA has been tasked to get details on the affidavit by Darshan Hiranandani, which was notarized in Dubai.
देखिए, विषय गंभीर है। उस विषय की गंभीरता के प्रकरण का सभी सदस्यों ने अपनी बात कही और वहां पे ये सर्वसम्मति से एक निर्णय हुआ कि 31 तारीख को 11 बजे महुआ मोइत्रा जी को सम्मन किया जा रहा है कि 31 तारीख को आए और अपनी बात कहें। साथ ही साथ आईटी मंत्रालय और गृह मंत्रालय को पत्र भेज के इनके बीच जो कन्वर्सेशन हुआ है, जो विषय है, उसको विवरण उपलब्ध कराने के लिए कहा गया है। जो विषय उठा है नेशनल सिक्योरिटी का और दूसरा जो लोगों को कन्वर्सेशन हुए हैं, ठीक है, इन दोनों विषय को लेके आईटी मंत्रालय को और गृह मंत्रालय को दोनों को चिट्ठी भेजी गई है और इनका विवरण उपलब्ध कराने भी कहा गया है।
Let me go straight across to my colleague Pragya, who is the one who has been tracking this this deposition in front of the Ethics Committee. Pragya, thank you very much for being with us here on Mirror Now. It was a 3-hour-long deposition because there were two men deposing, BJP MP Nishikant Dubey and Jai Anand, the lawyer who first made the charges against Mahua Moitra, the so-called ex-jilted lover. I want to ask you, what is the sort of questioning that has happened in the 3 hours? What is it that the panel asked these two gentlemen, and what is it that these two gentlemen responded to?
In fact, initially, it was Jai Anand Dehadre. He was first to depose before the panel. He put up all the documents that he had given to CBI as well. He had given all these documents in front of the panel as well. There were questions raised on the documents, the sort of documents that he has deposited before the panel as well. But there were, differences within the ethics members as well. So there was kind of heated argument within the ethics committee, and that is when the Jai Anand Dehadre was sent outside for at least 10 minutes before the house could be put to order. So after 10 minutes, Jai Anand Dehadre again came back, and there were questioning examination by the panel members. Now, when Nishikant Dubey, according to sources, when Nishikant Dubey came for giving his side of the story and oral evidence, he was in fact told by two members reportedly that he should put matter to rest and he should forget the matter as well. But Nishikant Dubey, according to sources, said that this can be happening only when there is investigation in process, but this is an open and shut case. This is the person against whom allegations are leveled, and the person in question who has given the bribe, he himself has given a sworn affidavit. So all these arguments took place within the ethics committee, and it is after argument and cross-examination by a few of the members. In fact, one of the members had raised question on the degree of Nishikant Dubey as well. One of the sources present in the meeting told us that Nishikant Dubey said that this matter has been put to rest by none other than Supreme Court, and the matter before the ethics committee is more important than the matter outside the ethics committee. So all that personal remarks, comments were also passed during the cross-examination as well. However, when these all came out, ethics committee decided that Mahua Moitra is next to depose. It's a natural justice that she should be also called for putting her side of the story as well, and also face cross-examination by the ethics committee member. Meanwhile, she will be she has been summoned for October 31st. But during this whole process, ethics committee has also decided that they should write to MHA and IT Ministry and MEA. MHA, because it is a matter of national security, everyone believed that since there are there are aspects to the investigation where there could be need for the access of communication between Hiranandani and Mahua Moitra. Emails and text could be accessed. IT Ministry login ID can be accessed from Dubai. And MEA, because there is a apostille convention put in place, so the affidavit was registered and notarized in Dubai. That is why they need evidence from MEA as well.
Okay, Pragya, we'll leave it there for the moment. Thank you very much for getting us that extensive report on what has happened inside Parliament when the Ethics Committee was speaking to the two gentlemen who are complainants in this case. Thank you very much indeed. Just to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, that the Ethics Committee, the person who heads the Ethics Committee is someone that you have already seen on your screens. He's BJP's MP from Kaushambi. His name is Vinod Kumar Sonkar. But of course, the Ethics Committee is dominated by BJP members, but it's not like that the opposition doesn't have a presence. The opposition very much has a presence in the Ethics Committee, because of which there was a difference of opinion. In fact, there were some members within the Ethics Committee who raised questions about Nishikant Dubey's alleged fake educational degrees as well. My guest this evening, Nighat Abbas, is spokesperson of the BJP, joining us on the broadcast. Tehseen Poonawala is a political analyst, joining us on the broadcast as well. Tehseen, given what is out in the public domain so far, is this now an open and shut case? Mahua Moitra will come in end of this month, depose before the Ethics Committee. But given the fact that one of the major protagonists in the case has already deposed, in the court of public opinion, he's spoken to the Times Network. I'm speaking about Mr. Hiranandani. He's corroborated all the charges that have been made by Jay Anant and by Nishikant Dubey. Is this now an open and shut case?
Shreya, I would like to believe, and thank you for having me on the show, I would like to believe that in this country, there still is the sanity of the rule of law and a legal jurisprudence that you're innocent until proven guilty. But I'm amazed and astounded. Of course, Mahua Moitra has a lot of questions to answer. I've spoken about this on your show last time. It is absolutely ridiculous if she's allegedly given her password, which Mr. Hiranandani has corroborated to your colleague Navika Kumar in an interview that she did, and she allowed him to use the system. Of course, that's stupid. It's perhaps even bordering on criminal, and all of those questions need to be asked, and she needs to face a probe. Nobody is defending all of that, if true. But suddenly, the ex-boyfriend is in the car with the MP who's lodged the complaint. They're hanging out like they're two bodies. And Mr. Hiranandani, the submissive son of the nationalist father who lives in, by the way, who lives in Dubai, is now suddenly kosher. He's suddenly super clean, and BJP is quoting him. He is the man who was logging into that system, allegedly giving gifts at the behest of being dominated by Mahua Moitra. And this submissive man had no brains of his own that he should not indulge in illegal activities. What more proof of this being a political witch hunt do you want than the fact that the BJP suddenly thinks that Mr. Hiranandani is all clean? If Mahua Moitra is guilty, and I hold no brief for, why is Hiranandani not guilty? Why is his projects given by none other than the BJP UP government not taken back? Why is he suddenly allowed to become an approver? And the ex-boyfriend throwing his ex-girlfriend under the bus? Was he sleeping? Today he tells Times Now and your reporter that he believes in the process of law and he's a lawyer himself. Was he snoozing as a lawyer when his ex-girlfriend was allegedly taking expensive gifts and indulging in illegal activity? Or only after the breakup he's now realized what is the value of law? I'm astounded by these two gentlemen. Again, I hold no brief for Mahua, but these two characters are absolute characters. And what if it was a Chinese dominant woman who would have dominated submissive Hiranandani? He would have given the parliamentary login to some Chinese? What rubbish is this?
Nishikant Abbas, today the ethics panel has raised a question about national security. Hi Nishikant, good evening. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
No, you can hear me, Tehseen, but I don't think Nishikant can. She's busy making notes like a good student, but I don't think she can hear me. No. Tehseen, I'm speaking about Nishikant. Nishikant, hi, good evening. Can you hear me?
I can WhatsApp her.
Yeah,
she has to answer.
Maybe you should. Nishikant, can you hear me or not? Hi. Good evening. अरे निखत को हमारी आवाज ही नहीं आ रही है. Guys, can we please fix this? We
नहीं
can't have the
कुछ
BJP
गड़बड़ तो नहीं है,
spokesperson
मुझे
not being able to hear us. हाँ लग रहा है कुछ गड़बड़ है निखत. We'll fix it निखत, don't worry. Tehseen, then let me come to you with the question of national security. There is a question of national security that has been raised by the ethics panel. Do you think that's stretching it? I mean, is there wrongdoing? Definitely. If Mahua Moitra has given her parliament login and password to Darshan Hira Nandani, is it wrong? Absolutely. It's ethically and morally wrong. Maybe there is criminality involved. I don't know. Let the ethics panel decide on that. But national security, are you seeing this as a breach of national security, as most BJP spokespersons have been alluding to it in the last 1 week or so?
So, Shreya, I'll divide my answer into two parts. The ethics committee has no right to get into the legality in terms of criminality. They don't have that mandate. So criminality will be decided by the CBI if the matter goes to the CBI. I believe it has, Jay has written to the CBI. As for national security, I do concur with the BJP, and I want to explain this to your viewers. The new wars will not be fought conventionally, and particularly you live with India, they won't be conventional wars. The new generation wars will be either space wars or cyber wars. We've already faced a severe cyber attack in AIMS. When you're given your login ID, it's not your email ID, your login ID, and you allow somebody from foreign lands to access a parliamentary system, a system which is the nic.in. How do you know that submissive Hiranandani did not give his ID, that same ID, to a Chinese or to an Israeli or to a Russian or to an American agency or somebody who has a conflict of interest with India? They can then enter your system, and with these bugs, once a mail reaches the speaker, it's in the speaker system. When the speaker emails the Honorable Prime Minister or Chief Justice, that bug or that malware can easily spread. So cyber security must be taken very, very seriously. Did Mahua intend or thought about it? I don't think she thought this through. Therefore, if it's true, it is grave. But yes, there is an element of cyber risk to India, because once you give access to a system, if I can just make this slightly simple. Let's say, Shreya, you give me your email ID and say, you know, Tehseen, on this subject, what are your points of view? And I email you on the Mirror Now ID. That's fine. But if you give me access to your Mirror Now ID itself to allow to operate from a foreign or from another place, I could easily misuse that and give it to a rival channel or try and hack into your ID or into your system and thereby compromising the entire Mirror Now system. That is the fundamental difference and the mistake that Mahua did. Mahua should have just given the ID and taken the questions there. Allowing him access to the ID is, in my opinion, crossing the line.
Also, what's the punishment? The fact is that right now there is no punishment for things like this. I'll tell you why. Because this is relatively new to India and its parliament. It's the entire practice of sending in a question, filling a form, putting your ID, etc. Before you can ask a question in parliament. That entire system is relatively new. Therefore, the violations and how you should be paying for those violations is something that has yet to be decided. So in that case, this will be a novel case and this will be a precedent. Whatever the ethics panel decides will be a precedent. But Nikat Abbas just come in here. Tehseen is raising a good point. He says, all right, you want to paint Mahua Moitra as the villain of the piece? Sure. If there is wrongdoing, if she is indeed given her login ID and password to Darshan Hira Nandani, it's plain wrong. Criminal or not is a different issue, but it's plain wrong. Ethically and morally, it is wrong. But how is Mr. Hira Nandani suddenly kosher? After all, he is the one who took the password from her, who took her login from her and put in those questions. So how is it that Mr. Hira Nandani is suddenly an ally and the woman on your screens is suddenly the big dushman?
See, exactly, that is the point, and which is why we keep saying that obviously we've seen a number of rackets being run. We've seen human trafficking racket, we've seen child labor racket, we've also seen different rackets, but it's for the first time we're seeing a racket being run in the parliament of questionnaire. And you've rightly said that how come he is right. It's not about that, which is why we keep questioning also Mahua through your channels and debate shows that why is that she had filed a lawsuit against 15 news channels. Mr. Dubey, she's filed a lawsuit against her former close friend, Mr. Jeb, but not Hiranandani. It is for her also. If she's saying that she hasn't shared the login details, if she's the one, she's saying that he's accusing of something which is wrong and she hasn't taken any gifts in return, why is that she's not filing any lawsuit against him? That is the point. I'll tell you why. Because this is the exact propaganda agenda being run by the entire opposition. It is not only Mahua alone. It is the entire opposition who are cosmetically questioning in the parliament and taking funds. And there's a prime example. Lately, we saw how the very, very dear friend of Rahul Gandhi, Mr. George Soros, had invested in OCCRP. All of a sudden, OCCRP publishes an article against Adani Group. And I'd like to mention that in Hindi, that garam garam pakaya tha, Rahul Gandhi ne garam garam kha liya. Immediately after that article, he does a press conference and starts questioning the Adani Group. So it was very quick. So, it is very much evident from the act of the opposition and the questions. They're all cosmetically done. Even for the bites, I think they're being paid from the international, channels and maybe anti-national organizations also, which is why they're doubting. And what is Mahua, it is not something which is so easy.
निखत, just a minute. I want to understand आप बोल क्या रहे हो? मेरे को समझ नहीं आया. You've said a lot of things, लेकिन मुझे समझ नहीं आया. Are you trying to say, Nikhat Abbas, that the entire opposition and all opposition MPs in parliament are taking cash for asking questions in parliament? Is that your allegation? As the official spokesperson of the BJP?
No, not at all. I am saying a lot of people. I am saying a lot of people are involved. It's not only Mahua. Obviously there is a possibility that a lot of people are cosmetically asking the questions. And I gave a prime example of Rahul Gandhi, which is why he did a press conference immediately after the OCCRP was funded by George Soros. That is exactly what I am saying. I'm not saying only Mahua is there. I am saying there is a big possibility of the fact that there might be a lot of number of member of parliament from the opposition who has been doing that, because they are, creating a propaganda and agenda against the Modi government. Their desperation has literally gone onto their nerves and blood.
Okay, so if that is the case, then Nikhat, by that logic, the ED is under you, the CBI is under you, and when I say under you, I mean the BJP government. You have RAW, you have IB, you have all sorts of agencies under you. How is it that all these supposed leaders from the opposition who take cash for asking questions in parliament have not been exposed yet? Mane, why is the BJP government being so kind to them?
We have a prime example, Shreya, for that in Delhi government. We see how the liquor excise policy has turned out to be. Initially, only the Deputy Chief Minister Manish Sisodia was behind the bars. Now we see also Sanjay Singh, and now we are going to see that there are few more people who will have name. So obviously the investigation is going to happen now. This has just gotten exposed. Mahua has just gotten exposed, and it's a big expose at that. Obviously, when the investigation would be done, either the Privileges Committee or the Ethics Committee, or if at all it goes to the court, obviously the investigation would be done, and we like I said, there is the possibility. So when I say there is a possibility, obviously there might be a pile of people who would be doing that. So obviously the questions would be asked and the investigation would be done, and there might turn out that few member of parliament from maybe TMC, maybe from Congress, maybe from Samajwadi Party would be involved, which is why we see TMC has been maintaining a big vast distance from commenting onto Mahua's case. I mean, they're parliamentarian. Mamata Banerjee should have come and, probably discussed about it, or probably given a bite, or maybe defend her or offend her, something of that, but nothing has happened. So they're maintaining a silence, so it is somewhat very suspicious and sounds very fishy, smells something fishy, that there's something which is wrong.
Okay, Nikhat, it's interesting. What you say is interesting. The Ethics Committee is not in a position to recommend a CBI probe. That will have to come from the Speaker itself, if at all it is required. So the Ethics Committee will not do it. But Tehseen Poonawalla, before I get Mr. Acharya on how this case will... Before I get in Mr. Acharya on what happens from here on, would you want to comment on what Nikhat is saying? She's saying it's not just Mahua Moitra. There are other members of parliament from the TMC, from the BRS, from the Congress party, who are doing exactly what Mahua Moitra has done. She is the one who's been caught, but bahut log kar rahe hain.
When I was a kid, I would hear this argument: if my grandmother had an Adam's apple, she would be my grandfather. So, I mean, there's a possibility that our real foreign minister, who's a tiger in reels, can become, and a kitten in real life, will stand up to Qatar. There's a possibility the finance ministry will understand finance. Possibilities aside, what are the facts on hand? The facts on hand are separate. Now, if Nigat rightly says that this is the Adani group was targeted and therefore India's economy was targeted. Who is the second protagonist in this? Hiranandani. Who's given Hiranandani contracts? The BJP. Who, submissive Hiranandani's father has gone about praising Adityanath ji for saying that he gave him the best data center projects. Take it back if this is an attack on India. You can't run with the hare and hunt with the hound. If Mahua is guilty, as per BJP, then why is Hiranandani not guilty? It takes two to tango. Therein is the problem. The problem is they want to tango with only one. Therein is the issue. Nishikant Dubey wants to drive around with the ex-boyfriend. That is the problem. The problem isn't nobody is defending Mahua. Neither are you, Shreya, holding up a brief for her. Neither am I defending her. The problem is the niyat of the BJP. And all of this comes in hypotheticals. If this would happen, that would happen. What is the facts? No one's talking about the facts.
No, but Tehseen, Nikat has a good point. She's saying, why are you telling us why we are not targeting Hiranandani or sending the CBI after him? Fact is that Mahua Moitra herself has not taken Mr. Hiranandani to court. She's taken everyone to court. She's taken a lot of news channels to court for reporting the story. Mr. Dubey has been taken to court. Jay Anant has been taken to court. So whoever has spoken against her has been taken to court. Why not Mr. Hiranandani? Sawal to theek hai Nikat ka.
Correct. So then Mahua will answer those questions. I don't hold a brief for Mahua, but if Mahua has not taken Hiranandani to court and therefore the assumption is she and Hiranandani were tangoing together, why is Hiranandani kosher for the BJP? That is the question. Take away the contracts given to Hiranandani. You can't have one accused. There are two accused in this. One suddenly can't become clean. That is the limited point I'm making. I hold no brief for Mahua. Let Mahua take him to court. Let her take him to Dubai. Let her take him anywhere.
10 seconds, Nikat. I'm out of time, but 10 seconds to you.
Shreya, all I can say is when the investigation is going to happen, everything would be exposed. If it's Hiranandani, obviously, the ethics committee, the privileges committee cannot take an action against it, but the court can, obviously. It would have been easier if Mahua could have filed a case against him, which is why I'm reiterating the fact, because that is what is important. She has accused, he has accused her of
the Indian government doesn't need, Mahua Moitra to file a case against Mr. Hiranandani
so which is
for action
to
be taken against Hiranandani. The government can do anything. They are very strong. They are the all-powerful Indian government.
Yes. Why are we commenting before it has happened? We are supposed to wait for the investigation to happen. Obviously, he has come out as a witness. He's saying that I was the one who was being threatened in exchange of... I was being asked to give gifts in exchange of questions and all of that.
Since the day the allegation came out, you are the one who...
And then Mahua,
you are the ones who have declared Mahua Moitra guilty. Why are you telling me let's wait for investigation?
No, I'm not declaring.
On day one,
I'm just speaking the
even
fact.
Before the
No, Shreya, I'm not
before the
declaring
allegations were made against Mahua Moitra, the BJP has
guilty.
declared her guilty.
No.
We leave it there. We leave it there. End of the month, Mahua Moitra has to.
To the facts.
हो गया. We are out of time. Thank you. अच्छा ठीक है. निखत बोलो. हाँ.
You're welcome.
निखत.
I am saying that I am not
thank you very much, everyone.
I don't need to do that. All I am saying is that the facts are declaring her very much guilty.
Okay, we'll leave it there for the moment. Thank you very much. But if Mahua Moitra is guilty, so is Darshan Hiranandani. So will the government of India act against Mr. Hiranandani as well? That's the question that Tehseen Poonawalla is asking. It's a valid question. We'll see. Tehseen, we'll see in a month's time. देखते हैं कहाँ CBI raid होती है. We'll leave it there. Nikat Abbas, thank you very much for joining us. Tehseen Poonawalla, thank you very much for joining us. PDT